for what you are supposed to be doing. Okay? It is not that prayana kale alone I will think about all this. That at the time of death I will think and I will be free. You will not be able to, I'm telling you. At time of death, so many things are happening. Systems closing down, this, that, etc. You will be thinking of all that. It will happen only if you have lived a life committed for moksha. You may be in a householder, you may be in a karma yogi, that's okay, that's fine, perfectly fine. I told you, 2 of my students went like that. No? One was Commodore. Yeah. Could see his thing coming down, and smile on his face and gone. Sahaya Sahib openly said it. He lay down and said, Aham Brahmasmi, and went. Yeah. I mean, he had his wife, kids, everything around. He had a last cup of tea with his wife. Okay. First cup of tea in the morning was always with his wife. He had that, then went in, lay down and went. Goodbye, sab ho gaya abhi. Yeah. It's time to go, that's it. You can't hold on to anything, you can't hang on to anything. So then why not go in a way where you are one with the consciousness? Unless your mind is full of desires and you say, no, I want to see my child again, I want to get married to the same woman again. Really? Are you sure? Are you sure? Is the woman sure she wants to get married to you again? That's even bigger question. Yeah. My God, one lifetime is enough. All these are there. No? So, if you're full of desires, that's a different thing. Yeah. The context of bhakti yukta in this verse. Hey, because what is bhakti? Your emotional response to your understanding of Ishvara, isn't it? Just a second. Can you do one thing? Let's close that window. This thing. Just pull that last panel. The noise is disturbing too much. So last panel there. Just pull that. Yeah. Thanks. It was disturbing a bit. I have forgotten to do that. Sorry. So, but bhakti is what it keeps you on track. Because what is the thing that's pulling away at that time? Emotions only, you know. Tell me, when you are quitting, okay, forget everything. You went and stayed with a friend and you met a lot of people and a lot of friends, etc. For 6 months you were there. Then you are leaving the place and coming. Where will your mind go to say goodbye to all those people? No? Why? Emotions. Because you care for them, you have your buddies, you love them, that's that. So similarly, at time of death, you are quitting and going. Emotions will drag you away, so bhakti will bring you back. Okay? Emotions will drag you away, bhakti will bring you back. Yeah. It's Ishvara's will now. Finish. Your body is dropping. It's part of Ishvara's order. Recognition. He is not asking you to sit down and do bhajan singing at that time. Or do a puja. That is not what we are talking about. We are talking about your emotions. Your emotional state. What is it? Bhakti is an emotion. It's an attitude. Born of a recognition. So the time of death, when you have that bhaktya yuktaha, that's what works. It will overcome any small emotional blocks you have. Big emotional blocks, that means you have to live a life of karma yoga, etc. And if after 30 years of studying Vedanta and living a life of karma yoga, the big blocks are not gone, then another lifetime. Okay. Yeah. Another lifetime. Or kya bolega? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that is what has become necessary then. I put it on silent, still it's ringing. Anyway.
So, Swamiji, I have a question.
Yeah.
So, when you're talking of bhakti, are you suggesting that it should be for one particular form of the
No. That's why I said it is not a visualization, not a manasa puja or anything. It's your attitude, your emotion, your recognition of Ishvara. Yeah. Because that is what bhakti is. Other things are actions connected with bhakti.
particular forms?
Yeah. For even formless, whatever. If you are visualizing, it's an action. If you are visualizing, it is an action. Here, no. Just bring that attitude into your mind. Yeah. Understanding of your attitude. That's enough. Oh Lord, your will now. My will is over and done. Why? I lived my life using my free will. Now it's your will. Fine. Just that much. That attitude is enough. That is bhakti. In fact, that's great bhakti. If when you're living, you can do that. It's your will. I will do what I can, but your will, that will work out. What will prevail is your will. That's it. Yeah. Your order prevails. My will is part of your order. That is surrender, isn't it? When I recognize my will is part of your order, isn't there a sense of surrender there? Yeah, that is real surrender. In fact, in Saddarshanam, Ramana says that Mrityum Bhiyad, out of fear of death, I surrendered to the Lord of death. Okay. Referring to Markandeya, the story. Says, now that I am one with the Lord, what fear of death is there? So there he equates surrender with knowledge. Okay. Or surrender as an attitude. Then if surrender as an attitude, it is once. No? How often are you going to go and surrender? In 1971, General Niazi surrendered publicly. It was humiliating for him. He fought tooth and nail against that public surrender. Okay. But he had to send a message to the world. So they insisted on a public surrender. Okay. Signed the documents. To Lieutenant General Jagat Singh Arora. Sign. So next day, did he have to sign it again? Because after that, they are all taken captives and brought to India. So every day is he surrendering, signing the document? No. Why? Surrender is once. But when we come to Ishvara, we keep surrendering every day. As I said in the camp. Tera tere arpana swami kya lage mera Om Jai Jagadish Hare. You chant. Tana mana dhana sab tera. Achha. Very good. Bhagwan khush ho gaya. Why? Because one guy finally has got it here. And next day what do you do? Om Jai Jagadish. With greater enthusiasm. Yeah. Third day, same thing. You confusing the Lord. He thought you had surrendered. Then Parvati has to tell him, Shivji, you are to bhole hi hai. That's why North India they call him Bholenath. To bhole hai. You are a very simple, straightforward guy, you know. These are human beings, they are complex characters. They are not really surrendering. They are trying to at best. At best they are trying to. At worst, it's just verbal. They're just saying it without meaning anything. Surrender is one. That's finished. Yeah, I went to my Guru and said once, Swamiji, I want to be your Sishya, that's it. And Swamiji said, I'll be happy. I'll be happy today. Uska baad kya? Every day you'll go and do a namaskara to him. That's form of greeting. Every day doing namaskara was greeting. It was not every day you're renewing your surrender. What do you mean you're renewing your surrender? You don't need to. Yeah, you don't need to. Why? Because you surrendered once. Ho gaya kaam. Yeah. So, If surrender is one, so it's surrender. That's it. Finished. Ho gaya. So.
But it is quite possible.
Huh?
It is quite possible
What?
that the first time, the time you said that I surrender, you might have said at that point of time in that particular state of mind. But after that, your ego again comes back and then starts dominating.
That means your surrender the first time was not real, na?
So that's why
It was only momentary. It was only a momentary feeling. It cannot be a momentary feeling. It has to be once. Yeah, most people cannot do that. I accept that. Therefore they struggle. Therefore they need reminders. Therefore they need to do this Om Jai Jagadisha Hare every day. That's okay. It's not something wrong, but I'm just saying at least don't make it verbal. That's why I'm showing you the foolishness of it. Yeah. At least mean it when that time. At least for that moment mean it. Yeah. Then it makes sense. Because surrender is not a simple thing. Bhakti is not a simple thing. You recognize what is Ishvara, and it's from that recognition that emotion is born. Without recognition, there's no bhakti. That is why even for the masses, for whom Ishvara is not as a cosmic order, etc., they don't understand that. You will create different deities and create different stories in Puranas. Even Sthala Puranas for each temple you will create. Why? Because some understanding, hey, Bhagwan aisa hai. He is like this. Why? Because you need that. You need that to have a sense of surrender. Yeah. Some understanding. Without understanding, there is no bhakti. Bhakti is an emotional response to your understanding of Ishvara. That's how it starts. Then Parama Bhakti, all that you can talk about. I have normal Bhakti first year, फिर Parama Bhakti का बात करूँ. So what is your emotional response? Most of it will say, we understand Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karanam. Okay, what's the response after that? The acceptance of everything that happens. To see everything is sacred, divine, minimum. Everything is sacred, what is not sacred? See, culturally it has gone into it. We will not stamp a book. We will not stamp anything which is important. No? We will not stamp another person. Unless we want to kick his butt, that's a different thing. Okay. Yeah. But why? I mean, culturally it has gone in. But it just remained meaningless actions. Oh, stamp a book. Do you really recognize the sacredness of it? If you recognize the sacredness, you do it. And what if the book that you have stamped is a Playboy magazine? Will you do the same? You need to, because printed word is knowledge. Therefore, printed word is knowledge, it is Saraswati. That's why you are doing it to a book. So it doesn't matter what the book contains. Sacred words. I can't stand all the photographs. Don't look at it. If you can't stand it, don't look at it. Simple as that. Well, sacred. A cutter Hindu may burn a book on Aurangzeb. He may burn it, but he will not stamp on it. Okay? He will not stamp on it. That shows the whole thing. How you are looking at it with a certain amount of sacredness. Therefore, all this is involved. How you have lived your life. It is not the last minute you are going to do all these things. And Ruvamati is cognitive. You are recognizing. You drawn up everything. Let this be the last one to shut down. And until it shuts down, and thinking of the fact and that pure limitless consciousness. That's it. Yeah. Then it works. Otherwise it doesn't work. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions or it's clear? Okay. Then the next verse. Is actually a throwback. Krishna is quoting from the Kathopanishad actually. Next verse is bodily lifted from Kathopanishad. But remember, Krishna has a copyright for it. Okay. He is the source of the knowledge. So copyright in kapas hai. So that's why he can quote it. Okay. Yad aksharam veda vido vadanti vishanti yat yatayo vitaragaha yad ichanto brahmacharyam charanti tatte padam sangrahena pravikshe. Om ityetat is missing here. It is there in Kathopanishad. Okay. Yad aksharam veda vidaha vadanti. That single syllabled word, a word but with only one syllable. Okay. Which veda vidaha vadanti. Okay. Which the knowers of the Veda talk about in great reverence, etc. Veda vidaha vadanti. Vishanti yad yataha vitaragaha. That which yatayaha, sannyasinaha, yatna shilavan. Yatayaha means those who are capable of putting adequate, appropriate effort. Can refer to everyone. By Lakshana it has come to mean sannyasi. Yati means sannyasi. Okay. But it can mean anyone who's putting in adequate, appropriate effort. Yat yataha vitaragaha san. They freed themselves from the bondage of desire. You can have a desire as long as it doesn't bind you. Every wise person has some desires. No? Will have. Maharaj ji, क्या पिएंगे? कॉफी पिएंगे या दूध पिएंगे? साउथ इंडियन महात्मा मिनिमल से कॉफी. So पंजाबन जब दूध पी सकते कॉफी क्यों पीते? That's Punjaban. Okay. So that means there is some preferences, no? The whole world has come down to that level of only preferences. Vitaragaha. Yad yataya vishanti. That state where the yatis enter into. Yad ichantaha brahmacharyam charanti. Desiring what? One leads a life of brahmacharya. This brahmacharya is one word which has got so many negative connotations. Brahma margeyo charanti iti brahmachari. One who is on the path of Brahman is brahmachari. Then a young student was also called a brahmachari. He just entered Gurukula. Because of that, the sexual connotations came in. Hey, he's too young to have all that thing. So celibacy came into the picture. Yeah. Okay. Later on, for a householder also, brahmachari came into the picture. There it meant disciplined enjoyment. A life with disciplined enjoyment, not excesses. Okay? These are the three connotations of the word. Therefore, yat inchataha brahmacharyam chananti. They live a life of celibacy, monasticism, being a monk, etc. Why? Tatte padam, that padam, sangrahena pravikshyami. I will tell you in brief as Omkara iti. We have seen the meaning of Omkara before, just to sum up. Okay? What name can you give the Lord? Because why that padam is called Omkara? Because there is Brahman, the consciousness. What are you trying to do? Trying to know that. See, all your life, whether you recognize it or not, is after fulfillment. A seeker is one who has discerned the problem and says, hey, my problem is not with what I have, but what I am. And I am an unfulfilled being trying to echo out happiness here and there. Kabhi kushi, kabhi gum. This is my life. I am trying to echo out. Idhar se thoda kushi mila, udhar se thoda mila. It's like one of my kids. She is a young mother. She put it up as a message. Sometimes talking to my daughter is so therapeutic. Sometimes after talking to my daughter, I need therapy. I'm sure many mothers can agree with this. Many daughters also will. Okay. That is life. That is life. Yeah. That kid is getting ready to come here. Yeah, I have to leave her alone for some more time. She sat in my workshops. Tada, time I, yeah. Yeah. I'm a patient man, you know. I know one thing. किधर जाएगा इन लोग सब वापस इधर ही आ जाएगा. So that is the whole idea. The thing is that everyone is after fullness in life. That I want to be a fulfilled being, and that is what we call moksha. Freedom from birth and death, etc., is a way of presenting it. Why? Because you are helpless in both cases. Yeah. Who wants to be born into a world like this? At least half the Indians here would have preferred to be born in USA, isn't it? The amount of illegal entries into USA, maximum number is Indians. Shameful. Yeah. People who have been caught trying to enter USA illegally, half the number is Indians. It's such a shame. Not wanting to go to US, but going illegally, that's the shame. That means what? If you had a choice, you would have been born there, no? Not here. So birth, you didn't have a choice. Death, do you have a choice? Hey, wait, I have so many things to do. Time up. Or like my mother would ask me, why is the Lord not taking me? Time. Yeah. And she decided to take it in her hands and fast unto death. But still she lasted 3 months. Normally doctors will say 2 weeks. She lasted 3 months, conscious, everything. Because prarabdha is like that. Now what to do? So neither birth nor death you have choice over. They mark your helplessness. So that helplessness is indicated as freedom from that is moksha. We all feel helpless at times in life. No? In fact, life means you are helpless. All control is an illusion. The sooner you recognize that, the better it is. We try to control our child, our partners, our husbands, our wives. Yeah, it's all life trying to control. When are you controlling your mind? I want to know. When are you mastering that? When are you mastering your body? Yeah, Swamiji, I am trying that. I decided I will only cook healthy in my life. And the daughter comes and tells me, Mom is on such a weird trip, yaar. I can't eat anything I like. She is such a control freak. So you want to know too. Why didn't you let the person be what the person wants to be? No, I decide for them also. You don't want to cook, okay, let her cook. Understandable, no? You all try to control only. And the idea is there is no control in life. You can do a few things. You have a choice in terms of what you are doing. Nothing more than that. That's all you have a choice in. That helplessness. That is a sign of helplessness. There are times when everyone feels helpless. It becomes very overt. Other times there's an illusion of control. Ask the people staying down 11th Road or people who come to 11th Road often. My road. Any control over what's happening outside? It's been going on for a month. That's it. So that freedom and that fullness is what we are seeking. So all this effort in life, whether we are trying to seek that fullness out of a thing, person, place. I love to go into the Himalayas. Every year I go. Why? It's so peaceful there. So in a place you are trying to seek that fullness. In a person you are trying to seek it. Okay. I get this person. Lord, I will not ask you for anything else. Then all your prayers will really start being in earnest after that. Things. What about all the precious things that once you thought was precious? Now what is happening? Lying as junk in your home. Unless you are using it for image creation. It's all artistic. And why are you doing that? I look at I have a beautiful house, therefore I am fine. You are spending more time on that house than on your body. More time on your body than on your mind. Ulta hai. It's all other way around. And you have justification. Clutter means cluttered mind. Who said that? Look at my house. Look at all the clutter. Mind is not cluttered. Nothing wrong there. Because I spend time here, not there. All that for what? Find the fulfillment you are. And that fulfillment presented as consciousness, which is Ishvara. Presented by the word Omkara. We have seen the meaning of the Omkara. Everything we have seen that. Gullet sound, lips sound, all sounds come in between. One for representation, Ukara. Then Om it becomes. All that we have seen. Okay. I'm sure everyone has heard about that, isn't it? From my class. If anyone has not heard, say that. Okay, everyone has heard. So that's what Omkara is about. Therefore, Omkara is a representation for both consciousness and Ishvara. That is your goal in life anyway. That's your goal in life. Ultimately, that's it. Discovering your consciousness. In between, you can have other 100 things. That's not a problem. Why? All that 100 things will help you grow. Yeah. Really, it will help you grow only. Or yeah. What is it meant for? Yeah. You need validation in life. Therefore, have some friends, a partner in life who will validate what you're feeling and things like that. Hopefully. Sometimes they also don't understand and becomes a problem. Then you go to the therapist because the therapist is paid to validate you. And they know how to say the right things in the right manner. Whether they mean it or not, it doesn't matter. They don't know you from Adam. You just met them 2 sessions. How are they validating you? Because they recognize the emotion and they know how to say it. That's all. And you feel good. So that little validation helps you grow. That's what it is meant for. A relationship, friends, etc. Some validation in life to help you grow. Some emotional companionship, etc. All that. Because as a human being, you are lonely. So all these things that you do is to overcome your sense of insecurity. Financial stability is for what? Why do you need financial stability? Everyone needs it. No? You don't need. When we walked off your Kangal, literally, I had financial stability. I gave away all that money. So my sannyasa was not 25 years back. My sannyasa was then when I walked out. I'm not saying everyone should walk out like that. No. I did it. For me, that was sannyasa. So, financial stability, so you feel some security. If that security will help you grow. If you're feeling too insecure, you can't grow. That step to make yourself insecure can be taken only after you already had some security. You said, no, I'm fine. So, you need financial Independence for security only. Artha and Kama, everything is false. And it is practical. So there's a practical aspect to it which don't give up. Of course, it's practical. You know what is the worst financial advice you can get? We unnecessarily work extra for money. The amount money that is there in your bank at the time of the death is the extra that you have worked. It sounds very nice, very good philosophy. So if I knew I was going to drop dead at 90, I could plan my spending until 90 and spend it all. But do you know when you'll you may live longer. Then you spent up everything. Now, abhi kya karega? Now I'm on the road. What else? No, so there's a practical aspect to it also. But all that is for what? Until you gain moksha. That's why in a structured society like how ancient India was, retirement plan for everyone was sannyasa. At the end of the life, everyone took sannyasa, lived on bhiksha. Why? They studied Vedanta all the time. In Brahmacharya, when they went to the Gurukula, basic idea of Ishvara, etc. was taught. Like how what I do with my youngsters in my workshops. Nowadays, Ishvara we keep a little bit low. Like Rishikesh has been in my workshops. The other part, competency part, we focus more. Then Grahastha, of course, a lot of Ishvara comes into your life. But that's where you're fulfilling your desires, etc. Then retirement money, you are preparing yourself for being disposable, by being redundant. You're no more necessary. Do a lot of upasanas, no more actions, karma, rituals, more upasana, etc. Then, after that is sannyasa. Walking off. Why? For your nishtha, you studied enough Vedanta, now your time is spent only in nididhyasana. And little bit shravanam here and there, nididhyasana. So, best retirement plan in the world. If the whole society is geared for that, it will work. If the society is not geared for that, like now, difficult. One thing struck me years ago. When TV first started coming in India, there was a serial called Hum Log. Anyone remembers that? Hum Loga. Ashok Kumar would come and make the final comments. So there's an old man, the patriarch of the family. He decides to go to her, Rishikesh. He's gone with just a jhola and some few things he has. And his son tells him, Babuji, he said, ठंड से नहीं बचेगा आप. He said, मैं बचना नहीं चाहता हूँ. I don't want to be safe from the cold. I want to experience the whole thing. Go through that whole insecurity. Why? Because now I am going for my nishtha and knowledge. Not for all this playing it safe anymore. I am not playing it safe. I am burning my bridges and going. If you are not ready for that, it is okay. Do it only if you are ready. Otherwise, it is a big problem. You go in the ashram that is hosting you, will have a problem. Why? Because you will start dictating things to all the people. This should be done like that, that should be done like that. And then they get lost. We had a character like that in the ashram when I was a student. So, two foreigners who came there skipped dinner without telling. Now, the thing is just inform the kitchen. Those days, ashram was small. Nowadays, if 10 people skip also, they won't make out. So many people come there. Those days, two students skipped, foreigners skipped. That come for some time. So the normal practice is inform the kitchen. So this guy saying, where are these people gone? And he can't speak English or even Hindi is limited. Okay. So I said, I think they're gone. I'm not sure. I saw them walking out. He started shouting at me. I said, why are you shouting at me? No, because I can't shout at them. I don't know the language. I want you to shout at them. Therefore, I'm shouting. joking, this actually happened. I told him, Swamiji, one second. And he had worn the saffron robes also. What? I said, there's a Ganga flowing outside, no? Yeah. Go, jump into it. What do you tell with this character? You're retired and come to an ashram. You're creating a problem there. You might as well stay at home, create problems only for 3-4 people. Don't create problems for 50 people. So if you're not ready, don't do it. Previously, people made themselves ready because retirement was that. Post-retirement, you had a transition period of Vanaprastha and then this. So all that for what? Sangrahena Brivishyami Om Ityeta. What is said? What is you seeking? This alone that you are seeking. Everything else is for growth. Everything else is for the fun of life. Correct. But that's why life can become problematic. Because you are looking for happiness in things that cannot give you more than a certain amount. People come and tell me, Swamiji, this relationship is not going anywhere. I said, you'll communicate well? Yeah. Intimacy is good, emotional, physical? Yes. You support you each other? Yes. Where do you expect it to go? It can only go downhill from here. What else are you expecting? Because you are expecting moksha there. Nahi hoga. More than that it cannot give you. Job I have told you, no job satisfaction. I have given you the description half a dozen times here. What are you expecting? Because you want more. Life is all about dil mange more. Remember that cricket match? Everyone is asking for a sixer. Shah Rukh Khan turns it around. This is 9. As though it's a big thing. You idiot. But people do that in life. You are expecting things expecting a joy and fulfillment from an activity or a situation that cannot give it to you. Only in self-knowledge, knowing your Ananda, that's the only thing that will help. Everything else will fall short. Now, therefore, life will be full of disappointments and regrets. If you normally live a normal life, at the end of it, you ask people who have lived 70, 80 years, ask them, I lived so long, you must be full of wisdom and joy and everything. What joy? A lifetime of regrets, disappointments, embitterment. I was more qualified than that guy, but he got success, I didn't get it. Why? Because you expected more than what life can give you. Now, that is one aspect that happens to most people nowadays. Once upon a time I was like this, now look at it, nobody listens to me. Even my daughter-in-law doesn't listen to me. Did your son listen to you? That you are not saying. Why? My children don't have time for me. They are attacking life and they are busy with their careers. They have to make it. You are not some big person who will left 100 crores for them. They have to make their own money. Naturally they will be busy. How do you expect them not to be busy? And they have to take care of their children. Don't worry, they will experience the same thing. After 50 years, same thing they will also go through. This is a cycle of life. Now you can keep it like this. Now I become useless. Nobody wants me. Or you can empower yourself and grow. Use the same experiences to grow. That's what Karma Yoga is about. The same experiences are used to find your growth, acceptance, understanding, empowerment. Then the youngsters will seek you out. I remember when Commodore was alive and we were going for camps, all the younger group, who just started work, this, that, all the youngsters would be always with him. Why? He had wisdom to share, stories to tell. A grand old man. Yeah, people will always be with him. Why? He's so interesting. We learn so much just talking to him. It's so much fun talking to him. He's so full of life. I wish we can be like that when we are older. People actually have come and told me all this. Yeah. So, you want to live like that? Then you live life of focus, karma yoga, you grow, you learn to let go. Karma yoga is also about letting go, na? Who said karma yoga is only about achievement? A lot of letting go happens in karma yoga. Why? Because even it's a failure, accept that failure. That means what? You are letting go of your imagined, all that you imagined as success, you are letting go, na? You can try for it again, that's a different thing, but that moment you have to let go. Let go. Karma yoga teaches you that. Another name for karma yoga is tyaga. Not sannyasa, tyaga. Karma phala tyaga it is called. Letting go of the result of action. Because it doesn't bother you anymore. So, letting go is part of the whole thing. When you live like that, you are empowered. You are learning from life. Otherwise, you are just getting experiences in life. Leaving you frustrated, embittered, and with some nice memories. Now I live in my memories. That's why old men talk a lot. Old people talk a lot. And they share stories of 30 years ago. And sometimes I catch myself doing it. Okay. As long as it's entertaining for people and it's learned, make them learn something, it's good, not otherwise. Otherwise, you are trying to relive your present by the past. But sometimes you are not doing anything in the present. You sleep only for 6 hours, you have 18 hours a day, what are you doing? Nothing. Really, you have time to waste. Scroll. How much? There are some phones which have that, which will show you this, how many hours you are spending on them. You will be surprised at how many hours you are spending. Even I find myself spending a couple of hours by emails, this, that, etc. I do it on the phone, I don't do it on the laptop. I'm poor on the laptop for typing. Yeah, my typing is like that. Yeah. But what I'm trying to say is you're wasting your life, or seek moksha. No? Seek the fulfillment directly. You sought it indirectly in your life. Because of that you grew. Now that growth is there, seek it directly. You have all the time in the world. But many people don't grow. That's why retirement is not a happy day for many of them. For many people, the day of retirement, people are giving you a send-off, but you are feeling disappointed inside, rejected, feel useless. It's not a happy situation. Very few people I have seen being happy. My father was one of them. Thank God, the job thing is over and done with now. I can do what I want. Very few people really enjoy that feeling. Why? Because you are not grown. If you grow, you are fine. I have been productive. Now it's time for spending more time on myself, my own thing. Growth that work can do, I have seen. Now, spending time with myself and growing. If you do that, you are empowered. And then, post-retirement what? Moksha. But they say that, but many people don't come for it. You know, I've been teaching in Bombay for more than 40 years now. When I first started, there are plenty of people who said, you are doing a very good thing. Even I want to learn the Gita. I said, come, class hai? Come. I never started a class in Chembur. Until recently, 10 years back. Before that, never started. Okay. So I said, it's a sign around the corner. Here. Come. After retirement, I will come. Then after retirement, I will ask them. Now what? You retired now, no? Come. We are on grandparent duty. We are on this. Now I can understand if there's a real situation and your daughter or son requires help, please help them. After retirement, you will travel for every wedding all over the country, every Upanayanam ceremony, every little ceremony you will go for. Why? Time pass करने का ना time, at least now 1 week is gone, 3 days are gone by. When you're working, you're cribbing, you didn't have time. And now you only have time, what are you doing? I have another student who is very keen. Swamiji, if you had a class every day, I will attend every day because he is retired now. He is a very successful man, very capable man. Says every day. If you ask me to come to Chembur to attend the class, I will do that also. Every day I will come. Commitment. He is starting from a scratch. But do you think he won't get moksha with that commitment? That's what makes a difference. So all this, Yadichanta, Brahmacharya, Charanti, he is talking about all the tapas and things that people do. But you are seeking that even when you are living a normal life. When you are chasing your job, success, career, relationships, children, grandchildren, what are you doing really speaking? Seeking for that fulfillment. You know, the feeling I got when I held my child, my firstborn. Okay? From that moment I knew I will love him until his dying day, until my dying day. And the child is kicking at you, and he'll tell you, look, how strong he is kicking me. Then he becomes a teenager and he has an argument with you. And he says, I will, and then he stops because he holds himself back as a good boy. He felt like saying, I'll hit you, kick you, whatever. But he held back. What is your feeling then? Anger, disappointment, hurt, bitterness. What happened to all the love? What happened to all that sense of fulfillment that you held him in your hands? What happened if he is not well and he has kept you awake for 3 nights in a row? I brought up a pair of nephews and nieces, I know. 2 pairs of nephews and nieces. I know what it takes to be a parent. There also you are seeking fulfillment, but that's temporary, momentary. Yeah. Success in a job. You reached a peak. CEO. Great. Then time for retirement. You got 2 years extension. Great. After that what? Tata goodbye. You better say Tata goodbye, like one of my students is doing, who's here. You better say that Tata goodbye. No, 1 year extension is enough. More than that, I don't want. I have other things to do, including help Swamiji build up his ashram. Sensible. Yeah. A man of some self-esteem. Are you trying to see what I am trying to say? Your whole pursuit is for moksha. The good things mentioned there, the other things I am supplying. Okay. The positive tapas he has mentioned here. But even your normal life is that. Even a criminal is doing that. Let me go to the other thing. What do you think a criminal is doing all the criminal activities for? He is also searching for fulfillment. The right things are not getting, so let me get it by wrong things. He is also looking for the same thing. Put fear into people, I'll feel a sense of control. One person says, I love everyone and I feel good about myself. The other person saying, I'll make everyone afraid of me and I feel what? Same thing. I want to feel good. Farak kya hai? So all human activities meant for this. Jnane eva parisamapyate. It can end up only in knowledge for those who seek and those who try to understand. Otherwise you are drifting in life. ठीक है. Lifetimes are awaiting you. No problems. What's the big issue? Okay. I digressed a bit in this verse, but I thought it was necessary to do that. Okay. Then some Nididhyasanam is talking about, which we will see in the next class. Okay. Om Tat Sat.